Hey, hi everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all, we're back to do it. Mr. Loverman, if you are a part of the collective, then you were there last night. And if you're not a part of the collective, like what is you doing? Like go on up there, click the QR, take a picture of it, and come join us over there because you'll miss out if you don't. But we are back to talk Mr. Loverman, a series new to the US, but not new to the UK, as it came out last year on BBC One, and we finally just got it on BritBox last week. I found out about it. Me and Tyra watched it, and then said, "Let's have the community watch together.
Mhm.
It deserves a conversation." Tyra, how are you today? And are you ready to get into Mr. Loverman, these first three episodes?
Who? Me? Champion lover, know it. Yeah, girl, I'm ready. I'm ready. Mr. Loverman.
Period.
Shopper. I'm ready. I'm ready. This was a great show. I can't wait to see what happens next. Tell somebody to tell a friend to tell a friend to get on over there to BritBox or wherever you need to go and watch Mr. Loverman. This was great. Like phenomenal storytelling. I loved every bit of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if anybody ever tells me we didn't have time, we didn't have budget, we couldn't develop the characters because it was so limited, I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear it. These are 30-minute episodes, and in 3 episodes, we know who each of our leads are fully with depth. Okay, we didn't got history, we didn't got backstories, we know their present state of mind. We know these people in 3 30-minute episodes. Like, I need the rest of the world to do better. To do better. But of course, you know where we have to start every single time, coming over here with the slides. And I hope I captured everything. I really want to do it justice because, again, it is new to us here in the States, but a property that's been around for a year. Our lead, Lennie James, has actually already won 2 Best Actor awards for this over in the UK last year for his performance here. Because outside, again, of just the story in and of itself, which I think is compelling, it's so well acted, y'all. It's so well acted. Have we been starved? Are we thirsty, Tyra? What
Deprived,
is
thirsty. We thirstier than a hole in the back of the club in the section. You try to get into the section with the bottles, but you just can't because you're not that girl. You real thirsty. You ain't never had nothing in your life before. This is sick. I'm tired. Y'all play on our top, acting like we have too much of an expectation as an audience. Can y'all please relax? It's not that deep. Oh, baby, I'm validated. Don't play with me. If we don't know nothing, we don't get on here for fun. Some people get on here for fun. We get on here for fun, but we also get on here for a love of film and a love of TV. And we know good TV. This is that. Every little situation that we've gotten, especially, I know I don't even want to put us on there, but us too, it's subpar. And it's just lacking. And most of all, it's an hour. It's an
Mhm.
hour. We don't get little 30-minute situations. What Mr. Loverman was able to do, and y'all probably don't know, like this man here, if anybody's in those Walking Dead streets, like, is that Morgan? What is Morgan doing over there? Morgan, the Morgan is over here portraying Mr. Loverman, and he is brilliant in it. Please do better. That's all I'm gonna say because Mr. Loverman did it.
They did it. That's what I'm saying. If they can do it, it can be done. But Tyra, just kind of piggybacking off that, I would love to know your overall thoughts just after watching these first 3 episodes.
Oh, girl, I love a good character I can't stand. I have such a hard time explaining, when we don't like a character, and then the response is, well, you don't have to like a character to agree. Everybody's not going to be agreeable. Like, no, we never need anybody to be completely likable or tangible or agreeable to digest them as the main. I like when you're a little despicable, a little muddy, a little dirty. Like, I like the complexities of our lead here. He is such an interesting. Barry is interesting as hell. Barry is problematic. Barry is charming. Barry has a very interesting narrative because we've seen this, especially in the era of our "be who you are for your pride," but
Be who
not,
you are.
when we're in our geriatric stages, when we're
Mhm.
this old and we're still dealing with the issues of while we aren't, coming out fully with our sexuality or lack thereof or partners. And it's just a really interesting dynamic. But I love that the show isn't completely leaning on our lead. It's very Morris is interesting. The wife is interesting. His children. There just seems to be the grandchild, like an envelope of whatever we're going to get in the next episodes to come. It's all going to come full circle, and every single person in this cast is going to matter along with Barry. It's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all know I love a good character study. And I know so many people, like a lot of the comments, oh gosh, you guys just hate everything. Nothing's good enough for you. You hate black people. You hate black stuff. You hate everything black. You always got something to say. And it's like when you see jewels or gems come out and that show you what's still capable, it makes everything else pale in comparison to it, y'all. Like, we can't help that. This was such a breath of fresh air because not only is it tackling some real issues, and I'm sure this is geriatric people's struggle who have been closeted their whole life and now have this, tinge of freedom or this moment where they think I might be ready. But also, like you said, an unreliable narrator, an unlikable but kind of likable protagonist, because as terrible as Barry is, you cannot deny his effervescence. Like, you can't deny that when he walks in a room, he changes the atmosphere. There's something about him. I know last night when we were watching in the Discord, I'm like, oh, he got all these people in love with him. Why? But there is this thing about him. It's like you can have a love for him, but hate him at the same time. And that always makes for an exceptional character. We try to explain that over and over again, that we're not looking for perfect people in characters. We're just looking for well developed characters. And that's what they're giving us from Morris. I understand Morris. Morris is a hopeless romantic, honey. Morris has been staking his entire life, sacrificed his future on a dream, on a hope, a promise, and a dream for this man. Morris is a single black female. Like, you
Yes,
know what I'm saying? Like, that's who
lady in
Morris
waiting.
is. Carmel is long suffering, who has her head buried in the sand, honey. She wants to hold together this facade, this image, for not only her culture, but I'm sure her children and for her own peace of mind. Like, what series have we seen lately that gives us so much depth in the first 3 episodes? I'm saying 30-minute episodes. I'm going to keep saying it. 30
40
minutes.
minutes. Do you know you have 30 minutes?
30
Yes, 30
minutes.
minutes.
But you guys, it was like, listen, we watched it and was like, this is good. Like, they did their good acting. They came out of their bag, and I'm just pleased we found it. And I hope if you haven't watched it, you guys check it out. But I wanted to start here first because over the past year or two, I'll give it, a lot of Jamaican English shows have come out, like, Jamaicans who have immigrated to the UK and built their lives there. We've gotten several series, and I know Tyra's not all about the TV series all the time, but I know she's seen at least one.
Yes.
But I want to know, is it like for you any of these? Champion, which was on Netflix, which of course delved deep into the culture, right, of what it's like to be an expat in the UK, but with a Caribbean descent, and what that looks like in a family. We just watched Queenie, honey. That was her story as well. I believe she's first generation. I think her parents were from Jamaica. And then we had Black Cake, which was another one. And then Three Little Birds, which came to us out of the UK as well, which is exceptional. I don't know who all has seen that. But out of these four, have you seen any of these other than Queenie? And do you see any parallels?
Definitely see parallels between Three Little Birds. And of course, we discussed Queenie. Go check it out if you haven't. Loved it. I have not seen Black Cake. I heard really great things about it, and I have never seen Champion. I'll be over there in those movie streets. So for me, I would liken this show in its writing. If anybody saw Small Acts, did you see Small
No,
Acts?
I haven't.
Oh, girl. Well, it's a collection of like small short stories in a series format. It was on Prime. It's called Small Acts. I would this could definitely smooth and fit its way in there really really great. And it's just so good. It's so good. And then I also like, cuz I'm not sure how authentic we're getting to try to match the heritage to who portraying these characters. But sometimes when we get into, per se, accents and what's real and what's not, and it's kind of like, baby, you from where? Why would you ever? And it's very organic. It's very authentic to the culture to me, and I like that we're not thinning the line of, oh my god, that accent is really taking me out of here. You not from across that water. I buy every single person here on this cast, and it was the same for something like Queenie or Small Axe. Please go and check that out.
Yeah, check all of these out, you guys, if you haven't already. Unfortunately, I believe Three Little Birds, Black Cake, and Champion were canceled. However, exceptional storytelling in each of them. Again, these are the shows we beg people to watch because we know they don't get a ton of airplay, they don't get a ton of promotion, but they're really good, different stories within the diaspora, but maybe outside of what we've seen. You know what I mean? So I do enjoy that. And yeah, definitely get Millie Black. Definitely get Millie Black. I need to go back and finish that. It was only 5 episodes. What's wrong with me? So easing on down the road, of course, this is based on the book Mr. Loverman by Bernardine Evaristo, okay, and adapted for television by Nathaniel Price. Now, Nathaniel Price, his star is on the rise. He has a couple of projects, and I know he's like the in-house or resident playwright at one of the big theaters in London right now. So he's got his work cut out for him. But I caught a quick 3-minute interview on YouTube where he sits down with the author and really talked about how what the differences are between writing, of course, a screenplay versus the novel. And she really kind of gets into how she kind of had this platonic crush on her character of Barry. She's like, he's just so charismatic and moving. And it was very interesting because she talks about how she even came up with the concept for this character. She was doing a workshop, a class that she had taken, and they pulled out a box full of old pictures, like pictures from the 50s and 60s or whatever. And she saw a black man with a hat, with a bowler, and a trench coat. And that's honestly how Barrington was
Baby.
formed. Yeah, that's how she built the world. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's so awesome because she said she had had some other, inspirations and they didn't go anywhere, but his character really spoke to her. And so Nathaniel took that and, she talked about world building in a book versus the show and how, she has to pay attention to everything in her room because she's building this world in your imagination. And where he was coming from was basically the dialogue and how the words made you feel and how the actors were going to be able to convey those words. I thought it was awesome. What do you think about Nathaniel Price's adaptation and her origin story for Barrington?
that was good. That's good writing. That just is a testament to how talented both of these individuals are, because Barrington and just this story overall, it feels really personal. I was like, oh, clearly whoever even just directed this, he didn't write it. Oh, okay. Well, is he a gay man? Like, is he look like, it's like, oh no, this is just something that, a figment of my imagination. That is good. That is good. This felt like, especially if you are of a certain generation, you have that uncle that's been living with his uncle. I'm living with my best friend. It's my best friend, and we gonna always say that that uncle is just uncle's best friend. We're never gonna acknowledge that they're in a
Roommate.
relationship. This felt very personal. And I just knew like she had some type of family history, like there were some stories shared, So I'm like, what? That's that from a bow and a feather and a hat or whatever. Like that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But that's just quality writing.
Hmm.
I don't know. We're deprived, boy. We ain't been nowhere. We ain't seen nothing in so long. That is very talent. Like that's talent, and it really feels like he did the same as far as his adaptation. But this is how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
You are supposed to take something and make it feel like it's your own. And you are supposed to collaborate and consort with the writer and make sure that you're doing the book justice and bring these characters to life. We just don't see it anymore.
Hmm.
And we get so many stories where it's like, oh, I mean, this story or this show or this movie, it did the book no justice. Go read the book and you'll really like. At this point, I'm like, baby, if this is the show, what's happening in the book? Because we can't adapt everything. Like what's happening in the book? It was just that good. I would have never thought that. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And she's quite prolific. I want to say this is her eighth book. And so she's been writing for a while and still has works, I believe, that are on the horizon. But so outside, and this was directed, I'm sorry, by Hong Kao is the name of the director. And I couldn't find a picture for him. But that's who directed it as well. So now, on top of the writing, on top of the source material, and of course the adaptation, now we pretty much have a stacked cast. Now, I must admit, I was ignorant to both Ariane, who plays Morris, and Sharon D. Clark, that plays Carmel. I hadn't seen them before, but when I kind of did just some little research on them, I was like, what in the world? So Ariane started out as a classically trained dancer, but outside of that, he is a BAFTA award winner. That's the big award over in the UK. He's done His Dark Materials, Mosquito Coast, Dancing on the Edge, which is a great period piece, as well as Carnival Row. And not to mention the stage and everything else. He is quite accomplished. Then you have Sharon D. Clark, who is in the stage space as far as theater. She has won 3 Tonys. She's won all of the damn theater awards in the UK. She actually originated the role of Oda Mae Brown from Ghost that we know Whoopi
Mhm.
Goldberg plays. She was the OG. She's in Wicked. Like she does the voice for Wicked on for both movies. She'll be in the next one as well. Like prolific. Do you hear me? Like just out here in these streets. And of course, y'all know Lennie James, who has a resume. The Walking Dead is enough, but then also Fear Walking Dead, Robot Chicken. He does a ton of voice work. I found out he was on Invincible, and like I said, he's already won 2 leading actor awards for this role in Mr. Loverman just last year. Were you familiar with either of these other leads in the cast at all?
Unfortunately, outside of Lennie James, no. I had no clue. But I find that a lot when we go across the pond and watch, because I never want to like take anything away from our properties. But a lot of the times when I want something completely different and out of the box, I'll go over there to like a BritBox or to a Channel 4 type situation and see what they have. And it's always really great and really, really different. And then I'll see someone who's really talented in a lower independent situation, and then they're discovered, they'll blow up, and then they're here, and it's just like, oh, they're amazing, who knew? And then it's like, well, hell, I've been working my butt off for 20 years over there in the UK, but nice to meet y'all. I am not, but I'm really great to I'm really great to know about them, to maybe go back and backtrack to see what else they've been in, because I'm sure it's probably just as great, we just don't know about it yet.
Absolutely. I think it is. And I think it's also interesting that they did decide to use queer actors and actresses as well in the storytelling, a queer story. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can sometimes find a mixture, but I thought it was nice just in terms of representation. Who better to tell the story? You know what I mean? But as we start out, the premise of the novel, it asks the question, what does it mean to spend a lifetime, 75 years in Barrington's case, hiding your sexuality? And what are the consequences of this deception on yourself and those that are closest to you? So, as far as the premise or the overarching question of the series, does it fit? Because honestly, do you feel like Barry? Do you feel like Barry even accepts Barry at this point?
No, no. And we learned that, in this most recent episode, he's not. It's just hard with all the progress. You see so much progress happening on a daily basis around you, especially for a certain community. But if you're not a part of it, or if you weren't there beforehand, you're not really acknowledging what stopped for someone. Like that never happened for me. As far as I'm concerned, it's still 1961. Like I've been in this frame of mind of hiding my sexuality for so long that this is just what it is, and it's just normal. You would think like, baby, ain't you tired? Did you miss the revolution? But it's like, if you've been stuck in your ways, we know how sad we can be at the aspects of, baby, look, I'm 30, okay? Baby, I'm 35. Baby, I'm 40. You ain't been look. You can't teach an old dog no tricks. Baby, I'm 45. I'm fit. Like 75. Yeah, I'm kind of sad at this moment, and you can't really have the same expectations for a Barrington that you're going to have for your everyday average queer person.
Absolutely. And I think it kind of begs deeper questions because if you're in a space, because the issue with me disliking Barry isn't his attraction or what his desires are. My
Yeah,
issue with them is he is a degenerate liar. And I
selfish.
honestly think he doesn't care about anyone but himself. And of course, we'll dive into it as we get into the specific episodes. But it's like, if you even liked your wife as a friend, she says, my dad is dying. Like, he's on his deathbed. He's sick. Will you please come home with me? And he's like, I'm trying to have a rendezvous with my boyfriend. Like, girl, go to hell. Get out of here. And of course, we hear his thoughts as he's interacting with all these people around him. Not only does he have this air of superiority, but when he is face to face asked and told, Barry, you're homosexual, he says, listen, I'm a Barry sexual.
Sexual.
Like, I transcend sexuality. There's no need for this. There's no need for that. So the idea that he's not only been hiding it for a lifetime, the way it looks now, he's going to continue to hide it.
Yeah.
And he's not even doing a good job of it, if we're honest about hiding it, because your wife knows, Jedediah. But let's get over here. And I wanted to briefly talk about our mains, our lead characters, and the descriptions that they have for them. Of course, we're starting with Barrington, aka Barry Jedidiah Walker. Charismatic, sharp dressed, 70, he's actually 75-year-old Antiguan immigrant living in London. Barry has spent decades hiding his sexuality and maintaining a secret relationship with his best friend Morris while married to Carmel. He is witty, well read, deeply conflicted about embracing his truth. He also got that good coin. According to the book, he is an attorney, or I think they call it a solicitor there. And so,
Oh,
I mean, he's paid, done taking care of his children, now his grandchild, paying the bills, footing everything. And I think him feeling like he's been this provider all these years allows him certain license to live the life that he wants to live. But like I said, overarching his character, like I said, as much as I hate him, there's still this part of me that's like, I like Barry would be fun. Barry would be like the fun grandpa to go out with and just listen to him knit a yarn and tell you stories. He just gives that, as awful as he is, as he's turning out to be. Tyra, what do you think of Barrington, and what do you think of this description?
I want to hang out with Barrington. Barrington is fun. Like he's so fun. I wouldn't want to be married to Barrington. You know, I wouldn't want to be Barrington's partner in any type of way, shape, or form. I just love Barrington being very aesthetic to his generation. Because,
I
sexuality
would
aside
agree.
or not, a lot of, I got a woman way over town, woman cross town, married, over two towns, and then I got my side family. A lot of men from that generation felt like they had certain liberties because have you not want for no team since we've been
Mhm.
here. I've always taken care of you. I've taken care of our children. Look at this home. Look at what all these liberties, what I'm paying for. The education for the grandchild and this, that, and the third. I've done everything. Can I not have this to my like what? Get out of my business. This is for me. This ain't about you. Okay, this is about me. I deserve this. Who are you to question me when I've made sure you had your lap of luxury this long? I don't bother you, so why bother me? It's very selfish. Barrington of that time is thinking that he has a license to be emotionally completely unavailable to his wife because I gave you that. And you should just be happy. That should be enough. And I'm sure we'll get to her. It's
Mhm.
not, but there is an expectation for, well, you were together this long, Barry. You guys have, children. There has to have been some connection and hopefully still one to where there's still, respect. There's still love, even though sexually you prefer a man. Barrington has such a barrier up with his wife and almost this
Mhm.
hatred because you're the reason. Like I have to put the blame somewhere. It's
Mhm.
like
He despises her.
she's standing in the way. It's like, no, you're standing in your own way. This lady isn't stopping you from being who you truly want to be, but in his mind, she is. So you're a cow. You know, you let yourself go. You used to look like something. You know, it's just like, yeah, no, no, no. What we're not gonna do is, insult me and degrade me because you're feeling some way about what you're able to do out into the free world. Like it's everybody's fault why he can't be who he is, except for Barrington.
But his. Yeah, no personal responsibility. Even at his big gigantic age, he's not taking that on. He despises her. That first episode showed me everything I need to know about how he feels about his wife. Meanwhile, we have the love of his life, Morris De La Rue. Okay, Barry's lifelong best friend and secret lover. Morris is patient and devoted, honey, long suffering, longing for Barry to finally commit to their relationship openly. Never gonna happen. He represents the possibility of freedom and love without secrecy. I like Morris's character, but I'm pissed at Morris's character at the same time because the whole time I'm screaming, stand up. Stand up, especially after we see the story evolve, and of course we'll get into the thick of that. It's like have some decorum, sir. Have some gumption. Stand on big business and move about your life freely. Barry will. Barry don't wait for nothing. Time waits for no man, and no peen waits for Barry. He gonna go get it. So why are you pining away for him, Tyra? Why is Morris pining away? And does Morris have um any depth outside of Barry at this point in the series?
Has to. Like Morris low that man down. Morris loved that man for real. To be a lady in waiting for years with the hopes of this year might be the year. It's crazy. I see so much potential in Morris as far as who he could be to potentially a partner who is, outward accepting and living their best life. You could have went and found that years ago, but you chose to kind of wait and hang on to Barrington's word. I feel like it's done a disservice because life stops for nobody, and while you're kind of waiting around, Barrington is still going to have his way. He's still going to have his cake and eat it too, regardless of how he feels about the wife and the kids. He gets his picture perfect situation, and you don't even get that. You get to live with what happened for you to wind up here, this lost, and you're just waiting for Mama Barrington to go off on a trip. So yeah, I can hit you up on a daily basis. We ain't got to sneak off this week, baby. She gone. She gone for the next
You
two
can come
months.
on, put that apron on with
But
nothing underneath it.
girl, like that is the sad existence. So I don't even know if he knows who he is outside of Barrington because he's just been wrapped in his bubble for so long. I don't know.
Mhm. I don't know either. Read the super Tyra. Read go on, read Dane's.
Thank you so much, Dane, for the $2. Where y'all finding these shows from? Hashtag shovel ranks. Dang,
Shut up.
get in the Discord, okay? We watched this show last night in the Discord, and we're glad we found it, Dane. It's really, really good. It's really interesting. And let me know when you're in the Discord so I can run it back for you.
You know how he feels about that damn Discord. He got me with that Discord. Meanwhile, over here we have Karma Walker, Barry's wife of 11 years, who suspects his infidelity but doesn't know the full truth. Well, we know that's a lie. We found that out in the episode 3. Carmel is strong-willed, emotionally complex, and deeply hurt by Barry's distance. Her journey is one of self-discovery and reckoning with long buried pain. I'll say this: any woman who stays in a situation like this after the truth, after finding out the truth but denying it, has to have had some deep seated, deep rooted emotional pain, trauma, low self image, low self worth, because, or again, be of a certain time where women were taught to stick and stay no matter what. I know that Barry has afforded her with a certain lifestyle. I know that, she has grown children now, but I don't know if there could be any way that I could be betrayed on that level and just put on a smile or pretend and create this alternate delusion of what's going on, because she'll say he's cheating. She just won't say who he's cheating with. She'll say baggy poos, with that baggy poos woman. That's who you're cheating with, knowing all the while it's the man he's bringing into your house every day. I'm really trying to understand Carmel. I'm hoping throughout the rest of the series we'll dig deeper, because right now I'm like, come on, Auntie. How do you feel about Caramel?
I
Caramel.
mean, it says wife of 50 years, but for the first 20, 25, was Barrington a good husband? Was he, loving? Yeah, they didn't get them children from nowhere, Was he, how long before she realized, oh, sissy hates you. He hates to see her coming. Loves to see her going, hates to see her coming, like the bane of her existence. Oh God, here she comes, expecting me to be a husband. Oh God, girl, get away from me. It's hard because we don't know who he was to her before, and
Mhm.
what she's clearly holding on to something. And maybe he was, putting on all that charm, all of that thing, that passion he lays on to Morris, that could have been projected her. Maybe he was in the frame of mind at one point of really trying to commit and trying to pretend that, if I build this happy wife, happy life, maybe that'll suppress these sexual urges to sleep with men. Maybe he tried. Maybe it had to have been something for her to be here this long, because when we do have her made aware, they're older in age now, and I think by then she probably felt like it was too late. What do I do now? I have these children. There's such a stigma around, the sexuality and the shame and all these things, and even at that point, it was the 80s, like in the 80s, like, oh, especially in the 80s, you're gay, oh, you're gonna get the package and you're gonna die. It was, a death sentence to even think about homosexuality. So I think with all those factors and their background, the heritage, the Caribbean scene, and what it means to even be gay in that space, it was just too much. And now it's like, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep. 50 years have gone by and you're laying next to somebody who hates you. I think it's just really sad. I think it's sad. Anyone with some common sense would have wanted Carmel to get that info on the phone, and pack her raggedy duffel bag and leave, because I'm not going to be here for this. But
Well,
she chose to stay.
yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I really like that we get to see right beside it another version of events, right? Because at this time, and I think it's probably late 80s, early 90s is what I read, where we're at when the happening happens.
Mhm.
And it's like we have Barry and Morris kind of at the same level in life. Like, Morris alludes to this idea that, once I did have it all. I wasn't wanting for money. Like, I had the family, I had the wife, I had the two kiddos, the two boys. And it was very interesting to see how his wife reacted versus how Caramel reacted. And I sometimes wonder or thought about it, just kind of over the past day, was it because of the rawness? And of course, we'll get into that. But was it because Morris's wife actually saw her husband get bent, and Caramel just heard a story? Like, I don't know. Both would have been justification enough for me that you don't love me. You're lying to me. Like,
I don't know. I think with any woman who has, found themselves in that predicament, I think it's, you can swallow a woman. You're cheating, and then when it's another man, then you really deal with those inner demons of, why wasn't I enough in a man? Like, instead of me, your wife of however many years and two kids, like, what's wrong with me? I think she probably thought she could fix Barrington.
oh Lord. And the other wife said, I'm out of here. I'm taking your kids. Go directly to hell. And finally, we have over here the sisters, Maxine and Donna Walker. Now, we only really get close or understanding. Oh, dang. I'm sorry. I have the wrong little breakdown. Un momento, por favor. Por favor. Because there's Donna and Maxine, and I just got the daughters mixed up. So Maxine is the oldest daughter. That's the one who's independent and perceptive. She has a complicated relationship with her father, shaped by his emotional absence and secrecy, which kind of gives me tease that she's probably seen things and knows
Hmm.
something more as well. And that's palpable as we see them interact. Just, I think, the one time at the family dinner, we see that there is a dissent there. And then we see Donna, who is obviously his favorite daughter. Who No, I think I have them mixed up. I'm sorry. Maxine is the wild style. Maxine is the one we saw in the pink Telfie.
Yeah, Maxine is the
That's
baby.
Maxine. Donna is the older one who has the son in school. Yes. So I think that Maxine is his favorite. I feel like that's the one he kissed the belly of the mama when she was pregnant with her. I feel like that's most closely his mirror. I think he likes that she's wild and kind of walks on the edges and the fringes, while Donna seems way more straight laced. So we'll see how this pans out. But Donna, the older one, definitely don't like her daddy, and Maxine is seemingly a daddy's girl. What do you think about what we've seen of the two sisters? We haven't seen a lot other than the flightiness of Maxine.
I think the older sister definitely knows something. I think she's seen, if she hasn't directly seen anything, she's definitely had moments of seeing her mother suffer, seeing her be long and waiting, crying. Maybe, they've had a talk about something. She definitely has that wall up with her dad. Like, yeah, you sit down. it's I also feel like he probably was really, with her being the first, deep in those trenches of probably being outside having his way by then.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, with that relationship being broken, I don't want to make the same mistake with a baby. So it's nothing that I'm not going to do or dote on her or give her what she wants, or matter of fact, really bring her into this lifestyle. Sure, baby, we can go step out together. Like, yeah, your mom ain't looking, have a little have a little, little swig of that rum. It's, it's hey, smoke this. It's very that, just to kind of have that relationship. So now it kind of feels split down the middle, where the oldest daughter is over there with her mom and Maxine is, daddy's girl. I think it's something that, of course, we haven't seen just yet, and I really look forward to it because Donna said, "Get out of my face. I know how
Get
you
out of
treat
my
my mama."
face. Looked at him up and down, wouldn't even shake the man, then wouldn't give him a hug, wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire. But when we get into episode one, this is where it all begins, and it's entitled The Secret Life of Barry Walker. And of course, we're introduced to Barrington, his charm, his wit, his carefully constructed life. And then, of course, we see they wasted no time. They wasted no time in getting to the point. I don't even think we get 10 minutes into the episode, and we see exactly what's going on with Mr. Barry and his extracurricular activities. We see Morris and Barrington, and immediately we're kind of pushed. When you sometimes think of DL men, we kind of think of just hypersexualized out here doing it with any and everybody they can get a little piece of dingling from. They present Morris in a way of like, this is my lifetime friend. This is the person I want to see when I wake up in the morning, and the last person I want to see at night before I go to bed, which I think is a really interesting way to present the story. Again, their relationship, the depth of decades, long love, and the tension of secrecy. If it's love, I think Morris loves Barrington. I think Barrington loves Barrington. I don't think I think I think Morris is safe. I think
Mm-hmm.
Morris is comfortable. He's like, I know if I'm with him, I won't get anything. But I think if Barry had his way, he would be slinging dingaling all across the UK, all across Miami. These naked beaches he wants to be on, that's where I feel like a 75-year-old Barrington would be. And then, of course, we go back to some flashbacks, even in that first episode on the island, and maybe one of his first encounters and getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
Episode one, what did you think of it, and what did you think of how they laid it all out for us?
Girl, it was 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes. Okay. It was 30 minutes, and we got everything that we needed. I like the subtleties, even though you say like first 10 minutes, it was subtle for me. Like they kind of unfolded where it's like, oh, like old Mars asked me about my day, like asked me like, oh, and he's like the little shoulder nudges, or them like yeah, they're waking up like it's almost to where you can like, oh, okay, best friends, and it's just like, oh, baby, that shoulder rub, that ain't, oh,
It
okay.
lingers. It lingers.
Lingering, we're lingering, like, baby, it's gonna be okay. It's very much that. And it's just like, oh, I gotta go up in here with, what I don't know what he called her, like the, not the beast, or the like, oh god, here we go, I gotta go over here and deal with her, with me, trying to be out having my best life with my man. Like, girl, I had a good night, I gotta come home to this. Like, Barrington is extremely selfish.
Mhm.
He's so selfish, and he feels like, and they gave him every right to, because nobody's held him accountable for anything.
Mm-mm.
You've been here this long, why switch it up now? You've been in secret, Morris, this long. We've been why switch it up now?
Why?
Wifey, and we get confirmation later. You've known for quite some. Why is everybody? Yo, why y'all being weird to me?
Mhm.
Why y'all being weird to me? I've had my way for 75 years. Darrington is really interesting in that way because we've only seen so much in the flashbacks, even with the first love situation. I think his secrecy is not just the times, but some trauma happened. And it just feels
Mm.
like, why would I ever want to come out if this is how the world is going to treat me? I think once we see what that is, that will give Barrington more levity. But just as face value, you can't look at him with a straight face in the way that he talks to his wife. Like,
Mm-mm.
you would swear he never liked this lady. Like, like you had to have something. It's just like, the sooner you leave, the quicker I can get to my man, the quicker I can get to having my way, having my time. We don't have to meet and go to a room and this, that, and a third. And he's also doing a disservice to the both of them. Like, if Morris, him waiting around to be like the fix. I can't just be 100% mad at Morris because they allowed him this. What are we supposed to do if you let me do this for 50 years? I don't know.
I'm still mad at him. I'm still mad at Barry because Barry, you're 75 years old. I expect more, just as a human being. But Dominique, we sent out an alert. We were in the Discord. We watched this together, so you don't have to have it because we have it over in the Discord, so everybody
You
can watch.
and then you see Morris, like, talk about broken promises.
Promise,
You've been
promise.
hanging on to promises for that long.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Forever.
crazy. That's
As
crazy.
hell.
Like, nobody, it just, it goes into the culture in the age. Nobody wanted more for themselves or thought enough to go, this isn't servicing me. I'm going to go out on a limb and walk away from Barrington, whether it was the wife or the side chick at this point. We just
But you know,
decided not to.
I think because I think media portrays the long-suffering woman 9 times out of 10 that we forget that there are men who settle for this and do this. I'm sure this isn't a unique or um, rare story. I'm sure this is some old men, old women's lives as well that they've had secret partners. We know men who've had secret families,
Yeah.
secret second wives for 100 years. I just don't think we rarely see it on this
No.
side. We rarely
It's
see it on this
weird.
side, but I think it exists. I do.
Uncomfortable. I don't know how to take Morris over there. Like, you know what? He told me
Baby, I'll
this is
wait.
gonna be the year he's gonna leave that wife. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But even
Like, well,
here
baby, you've been waiting
in
10
this
years. He gonna leave her for real this time. Like, what?
no, baby, never. And you would think because they've known each other since teens basically or maybe even younger that he knows who he you know who Barry is. And in this first episode when Barry is selling this dream of, we'll be naked in our grass huts and we'll, go out and walk to the ocean, get some oceanfront property and it'll be great and all of these things. And he's like, "You're not like I know you're not leaving,
Right now,
Caramel. What's gonna be?
it's
Yes, I
different
am. I
now.
mean it. I'm
He's
really gonna
like,
do it this time.
God, for real. Something clicked in me. 75. Something clicked. I'm leaving her for real. There's always going to be an excuse. And I'm starting to feel like this is what he's done every single time. Maybe she was going to have a long awaited stay elsewhere just to get him in the mind frame of, see, this is how it could be. And for him to be at his beck and call in his bedside. It's trash.
Mm. Mhm. Chuck, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. As I transition into a content creator, realizing I gotta mind my manners better. Good day, kind ladies. Gonna suppress my inner Henry. Thank you for that.
Good,
Thank you,
good
Chuck.
day.
Thank you
Good
for the
day.
support
Good day.
always. Moving on into episode 2 and the baggy poos of it all, cracks in the facade, and he is further selling dreams. Caramel's growing suspicion, and again, and it's not confirmed, Darfelina. I saw your message earlier in the chat that she does hear something on the phone, and we just all we hear is an immediate, basically declining the acknowledgement of what happened. No, he would never do that. And
Yeah.
clearly, it's a Morris's angry wife on the other line telling her what happened. I'm of the mind enough was said for her to know and for her to put two and two together about his behavior, because
Oh,
let's
yeah.
be very clear. Barrington been slinging dingaling for a very long time, honey. It
Mhm.
didn't just start now. It's been going on for hundreds of years at this point,
Yeah.
with
And then
this man.
she verbatim said, "I don't believe you."
Yeah. This is willful denial. This is willfully burying her head in the sand. She did not want to receive that. And so now I think she's masking with this whole, oh, he's with this woman, these women of ill repute. No, no, Barrington is a man of the Night's Watch.
She
Okay.
can't even
He
say
really
it.
be out there in the
It's the
cemetery park, Barry, in the cemetery, in
she can't
in the
even say that.
hallowed grounds. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Because we're not moving. She's not going because if you can't even utter it out of your mouth that he's with not only just any man, but you know for certain he's probably with Morris and have been. And we kumbaya, cook dinner. You want a plate, Morris? Like it's very, it's we just she's in such denial that we can't even say that he's gay. We're acknowledging the elephant, but we're still saying there's going to be a new regime at 75. You're going to stop running around on me and sleep with all these women, ma'am.
and you know who and what he's doing. And I think a lot of women live in a willful denial. A lot of people, I won't even just put that on women. A lot of people just refuse to believe things they don't want to believe. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a friend that you've had to tell an uncomfortable truth to, and some people just are not willing to receive whatever that truth is, whether it's about another friend of theirs, their man especially, or even their children. Some people just cannot receive hard truths about the people that they love and care about. But in this episode, of course, Caramel is raging. She got the church ladies over to the house, honey. We have kind of this idea, this innuendo that potentially the grandson is gay. There's a couple of little clues, but we don't know what that's going to look like yet. But there is an event that happens at the dinner table, Tyra, with the church ladies, and basically saying, well, what if your grandson Daniel is, a batty boy or whatever they said, and you have to beat it out of him. You have to do this. You don't want a son like that. You don't want a grandson like that. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What did you think of that scene? Because we actually see Barrington stand up. I didn't know what approach he was going to take because he loved the chaos. He loved when the church ladies came and they were talking their issues, like, good, because that means they don't have to focus on me. He was loving it. But as soon as it switches to his grandson and that topic, we actually see him throw them heifers out. What did you think of that? And how can he stand up in this moment and still stay closeted himself? How'd that work?
Yeah, they said, what if he's an anti-man? I was like, I gotta look that one up. I gotta look that one up. Um, it makes me feel like there's maybe some potential in Barry. If he couldn't, come out or per se stand up for himself, maybe he'll do it for his grandson. Because I don't know why they kind of mowing around the grass. We do have that text from the friend in the car
Uh,
that looks to be, I think he says, "Good morning, beautiful," and the name is Chris. But Chris could be
mhm.
a girl. I'm like,
You
wait a minute.
could.
But it's I'm sure he knows. He knows. Like he's seen it. I'm sure he probably sees something in his grandson that he probably saw in himself at an early age. And it's just a confirmation of like, see, this is why we don't come out. This is why, or even just the lack of progression or where the buck stops. You have this older generation here versus even when you're getting into, a biblical sense and how they're referencing the Bible, and even the daughter, Donna, just like, well, the Bible also says this, and if my son was that, then I would. But would you like? Oh, they're just from a certain generation that has a certain way of thinking, and Barrington can stand up here and get this mad. And I wasn't even focused on Barrington. I was looking at that wife because she was like, "Oh, I bet you would." Like it's just we're just saying stuff without saying it, and it's just like, yeah, we need to cast it out and beat it out, and get that rot at the core before it spreads. Yeah, they didn't say anything wrong, and it's like they're talking to each other without actually talking about the subject matter at hand. Their dynamics are just very, very interesting, and I just can't wait. Like, and it's hard for me to say I can't wait to you guys are free and separate and can live in your truths, and y'all older than dirt at this point. Like it's like the damage is done. It's kind of not so much a life wasted because nobody's deceased yet, but it's like, Lord, why would you ever punish yourself in this way? But I do get it, and why they would. But I feel like if there is hope, maybe Barrington will eventually come out and stand up for his nephew if a time happens to where, okay, enough is enough.
I wish I could feel empathy for Barrington. I don't. He is an educated man. He is full of himself. He has no problem speaking out on everything else. I just hate that he's and I'll kind of, it's just why lie and why drag like other people into it. You know what I mean? It's such a wrong to me. But I really am interested if we'll get to a point where we'll see Caramel's story,
Hmm.
because maybe it's deeper than we think. Maybe she's got some of her own secrets, but I'm ready to know more about her because all we have of her right now is kind of this woman who's angry, who's in denial, who probably feels like her life has been wasted with him because he doesn't pay her dust. We do know at some point they got Bucky naked because they got two daughters, if they're really his daughters.
Oh,
Cause
girl,
did he produce them children? I don't know. I'm just hoping that the plot
I don't
thickens.
know. I don't think anyone should feel sorry for Barrington. I'm not feeling sorry for Barrington. I'm just not as kind of fed or with the situation. Like if you all know, you couldn't tell me before, the last episode. I was like, oh, she does not know. Lord, later this late after all this time, she don't to find out that she knows and you still stuck around, like I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, it's like
You had
how
the
do we
option to leave.
navigate it? I don't know. It's hard. And I know it's easy for us to say what we would do now in 2025. Um, but her being from a different era, a different culture, I don't know what that looks like. I am definitely interested to see how the dynamic with the daughters plays out. We did see him have a lunch with Maxine where he and Morris were both there while just after he was being inappropriate with that straw or
Girl.
whatever it was. Barry.
So your fine daddy, I said, hey.
Barry is a freak hoe.
Barrington.
He's a
You
freak
know what?
hoe, honey.
I love it. I love it. I have never seen freak hoe activities in such a geriatric stage. I'm here for say Barrington because so often we get like life stops, sex stops, everything stops after 60. Like no, Barry's like I'm still getting it in. Like when are you free? Because the heifer is on a flight real soon because I'm trying to get it in.
Regularly. He getting busy. He stay getting busy. Barry ain't stopped getting busy. Do you hear me? But he meets with her, and of course it starts out with, why didn't you go with mom? You're being a terrible husband to her too. But can you fund this business? So we can already see right now this is a transactional relationship that he has with this daughter. It looks as though he kind of feeds into every one of her whims because, of course, he wants that love, he wants that adoration, he wants that affection, and that's clearly not what he's getting from Donna. So, what do you think of the relationship with this daughter versus the oldest? And is this the first time he's lent her money
Oh no.
for her
I
endeavors?
think his daughter is more broken than he knows. The damage is clearly done already with Donna, but rather than acknowledge it, he, from what it looks like, ignores Donna because he probably sees his wife coming, like, oh, here she go, you're another extension of her, but there's my Maxine. The way that she was holding on to that like nervous tick in that rubber band, and her not being really able to swallow rejection or knowing how to maybe maneuver in her career when it just really, from the looks of it, seems like stuff isn't working out. Even just the way that she interacted with the sister, there is clearly a divide. I feel like there's like some nervousness and some damage within her,
Mm.
and he's probably masked it, as we see even with Morris. You want some rum? I got rum. I got rum. He got rum for days. He has a personal stash of rum
In
and
his
liquor in
glass.
a flask. And let me like, he's been, Barrington clearly suppresses his emotional state with not only just sex when he can, but alcohol. And it kind of seems like it's rolling over to her and her emotional state, but he doesn't see that as her being broken because of anything he's done. This is just
Mhm.
Maxine. Oh, she's just
Mm.
spoiling. But even if it looks like we're on the cusp of having a real conversation, Dad, how could you do this to Mom? Why don't you just do X, Y, and Z? Matter of fact, oh, you want some rum? Oh, matter of fact, I could actually fund that business for you. Let's not talk about that. I can
Mhm.
support you. I can do that. And I'm still, putting a band aid on the situation while being your best dad ever, because who's gonna front your little trash ass fashions but me? He called him trash real quick in the bathroom, and it's just that, and it's just like, oh, all is forgotten. You, the broken marriage, how Mom is feeling, and this is the last of it, and he doesn't love me. I don't care about that. You're gonna fund my life, and then of course we roll into that third episode, and they've made a night of it, the drinking, the partying, and you can see that this is probably what they do all the time. But Barrington is using this to suppress his lacking of accountability as a dad, and of course all this damn secrecy.
Yeah. And you guys have to drop it in the chat because I see you in the comments, Saul 10. You don't have to feel sorry for him, but you can understand his reasoning. And I still don't understand his reasoning. He is very educated and he seems not bound by the cultural norms. At least with these ladies at the table, he ain't have no problem putting them out. But I want to know from anyone who is of Caribbean descent, culturally, is it common for a man to have such a close male friend that's there all the time? Because I will say that that was the interesting thing for me in all of the family dealings that Barry has had that we've seen, like the, events or even the alone time. Morris is always there and no one really gives it a second glance. Even the daughter, like, I thought this was one on one, but hey, Uncle Morris, like, always there. Is that commonplace, or would this be something that would stand out? Because I'm like, Morris, why, like, no one,
I
we
think
just
they're
cool with.
covered even more than they would have been before because it's old age. They're probably both, retired. And it's just like you have all this idle time. He's always, at the bar with Morris, watching the game with Morris, catching up, nightlife with Morris. This is, something that they've done for years, especially from, outsiders, not these wives, because clearly we know what's going on. But I feel like it's par for the course because of their age. What else would they be doing? You're 75.
Yeah. Now, yeah, and it's not. Well, I do judge Barry. I judge Barry for his duplicity and the lies. And I think that's fair. I don't judge him because of who he is. I think the way that he's navigating it and the collateral damage is what bothers me, because it didn't have to be this way, which we get to in episode 3, because we get a backstory of everything. You have Morris over here who is basically, they're caught in the act, bumping peen tips up against the wall. His Morris's wife comes in and sees him getting bent, and she spazzes out, starts beating him, and immediately it's over for Morris. Like, wife's gone, kids gone. Don't take my kid. Like, he pulled out his good acting. When I tell you,
Mhm.
Morris had me like, damn, Morris, like, damn,
Damn,
you
homie.
can't be
In
doing it
high
in the
school, you was the
house.
man.
But he's completely outed, life upended. He goes to Barry. That's why I'm judging him. Hell yeah, I'm judging him because he goes to Barry and he's like, Barry, I got to go through this divorce now. I'm broken. She's taking my kids. Can you just wait for me until the divorce is final? Do you know what this? Do you know what Barry did the next minute? He was at the park tapping his fingers, his toes, tap dancing, looking for some booty meat. That's what he was doing, not waiting for this man that he supposedly loved since childhood. This ain't even just about his wife. Barry is a trash individual to everybody that he comes in contact with, in my opinion. I think it's trash. You couldn't even be for this man. You half the reason he didn't got outed. So he's ruined. And this was Barry's perfect time to go ahead and be honest about everything too. Like, yeah, at least I have this person to go through it with. But Barry's issue is he's only concerned about his own appetites, in my opinion. That's what I got out of episode 3, Tyra. What about you?
Barrington is so scared of public scrutiny and others. He's constantly looking over his shoulder. And we see that consistent thread through whatever decade or flashback or current day. Whatever's being said, Barrington's looking over his shoulder. Just don't be too loud. He's he's so scared of just anybody having any, and not just family. Like, he's like, oh, they think they know me. I'm the man on the street. I'm a like a pillar in this community. They love me. I'm always, good old Barrington, good old sturdy, whatever. He's, kind of a beacon in this little neighborhood. Like, who am I? How am I going to be perceived if I'm no longer this Barrington and I'm the Barrington who's been gay since forever? And he's just so scared. I feel sorry for Barrington in that way. Like, this should be an awful existence, and I think all of that charm and the rum and what I want from you. You know why you're here, Morris. Come on, that's just I think when push comes to shove, and everything that he's known that's been a constant in his life, Maxine being Maxine, Morris is always there. Oh yeah, wifey's Karma's gonna complain, but where's she going? Like, she's gonna whatever, and then she's gonna, once those things are stripped, we're gonna get to the real Barrington. Because you have to be a broken person to have to walk through life so nonchalant and be so dismissive of other people's emotional well-being. If anything, regardless of, Carmel, you would think that he would hold Morris to something enough. I feel like he owed him something. It's no. He just wants him to be content. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. These good old broken promises, Miami, the beach, the nakedness. And yeah, I want that. He like blatantly lies. Like, but you just told me last episode. Well, no, that's not a marriage. I was just thinking, ain't nobody we don't got to come out. We can just get a duplex. I can leave Carmel and we can get a duplex and you live on your side. It's like, no, I don't want that. Even, in the way that Morris wants marriage.
Mhm.
even at this age,
And the kids could
I'm
come
sure
visit us.
I want my name dropped. I want to be married. It's just like, what? No, what? If that's such a public display. Why do we need? And the fact that this man, 75 years old, said that I'm a very sexual. You can't even say that you're a homosexual.
Yeah.
You can't even say that you're a homosexual, man. You're 75. Like, this is tragic. Like, you didn't you and Barrington wants everything in return, and he wants to give nothing. Just like when he told, I guess when Morris came from Antigua before him, say, you were just supposed to wait for me, not marry the first. And it's like, I didn't have a choice. I had to, and we don't know exactly how that
What that
unfolded.
choice was, yeah.
But even in that moment of everything, I love how, first of all, he just ran out. You just left. Barrington grabbed them clothes. I gotta get out of here. He heard it. And I love how effeminate and kind of this quiet masculine energy
Morris.
that Morris carries. So when you see him in there with that wife, even, the state that they're in, you will be mad as hell. We're like, oh, Morris.
Morris.
Like, girl, just don't hit him in the face, ma'am. Like, oh. And when he's like, don't take my children, it's just, you see him in this broken state, and it's still like, well, I got to get my fix from somewhere. Let me go on in the back of the park. And we're, beat up for it. Or even all this fear and the scrutiny and this public and that. She knows on the phone. He had the prime opportunity to come in there to Carmel and say, it's true. I did it. Me and Morris, we've been beyond besties for years. I'm a gay man. I have been bisexual for years, but I'm not anymore. I'm gay. He didn't. He was just like, oh, if everything is everything and I can just keep it like this, why would I change it? Because if I change stuff, I have to be accountable. What does that mean for me, my perception as a man? I think he's in fear that he's going to be looked at less than. Even in your old age, you're still worried about X, Y, and Z. When you only have so much more life to live, Barrington, why wouldn't you want to live it out? It's sad.
I
It's
think
sad.
he's so used to living this life, and there's almost some kind of thrill I think he still gets from it. I will say this: I am interested in the background of it all because they do another really quick flashback in these 30 minutes, which again they had all the time in the world to do. We go back to like 1990, and we see one of the men that he was dealing with who is been, the victim of a hate crime and is unalived in the car. And that's kind of the first moment that I think I actually had a little bit of empathy, because I do feel like in that moment Barrington saw himself in this man that we see unalived on the street because he cheated on his wife with him. You know what I mean? And so maybe he holds that in his mind. Like, I can't undo that trauma. So I have to acknowledge it. I can still say the onus is on him at 75 years damn old to get help and work through those things. I can't imagine the trauma he went back in the island. Like, I can't
Yeah.
imagine, because we know that he's been found out at least a couple of times. He has
Mm.
been assaulted himself in that gay cemetery, which, what are we
Gays.
doing in the cemetery? It was so
I
bizarre. I
thought it
knew
was
about
just
a
a
park.
regular park.
No, he had to
It
open
was.
the gate. You didn't see the tombstones? It was a
I
cemetery. What are y'all doing in
I thought it was Lestat and Louis. I thought it was just at the park.
it was a park in the cemetery. Those were benches
Oh,
in the cemetery. So I won't negate his trauma or his lived experiences because he's clearly gone through things. But it also feels like he's putting other people through things as well.
no,
Um,
but it's like, did Barry have to come here and reinvent himself after being found out? Was he like, because I think in the midst of the attack, I'm sure we'll see it on the island. He's like, no, like brother, no. So it seems like, his family, was he, immediately ostracized, told to never
exiled.
return? Did they do something to his lover then? And did he come here with the expectation of, I'm going to be living my best life, and when I get there, Morris is going to be waiting for me and we can live out loud? And did he find a married, Morris? Like, or like what is it? I can't wait to see what it is, but I think he's been through some stuff.
He definitely has, and it's shaped him. And like you said earlier, we get to our ages and are like, well, damn, I'm not flexing on that. I'm not bending on that. And so maybe that is, but I do think he just owes everyone the truth. Like, sir, you just owe that not only to yourself, but to those people in your circle at the very least. Now, what they do with it, that's got to be on them. And at 75, you have to be willing to deal with whatever their choices are. And if that means no contact, whatever the case may be, that's what it is. But the double life of it all, it just gives like duplicitous. And I just can't
And he likes
reconcile.
it. People who like to cheat and they like
He's a
to
thrill, yeah.
they like the aspect of, getting caught. Is like, oh, how many
The
down low
thrill.
men do you think out there more is still, chug it? Oh, look at us. Like, no, I want more than this, Barrington. I don't want to be on the down low. I don't want to be sneaking around because karma's, I want marriage. I want us to go, well, hold on. Like, he can't, like, you can't even show any type of public affection to Morris outside of when it's more on the, grotesquer side, but just like the minimal, like, I love you. He just can't even, and the fact that he can't even utter like I love you, he has to do those knocks on the table as a representation. It's just sad, and I can't wait to see what Barrington ends up.
But my thing, if Barrington was really honest and integral about this dream he had of them going to a new place and this new island away from everybody. No, the damn kids can't visit Morris. We're gonna have two separate bedrooms. They'll never know we're uncles. I'm Uncle so and so and you're brother so and so, or whatever the case may be. I just really feel like in this moment when they're sitting at the table and Morris is like, I want more, and then finally coming to the realization that no, Barry, you're never going to change, and walks out. Is that Morris's final exit, or
I,
are we going to see Morris again going forward?
unless something happens, because if something let something happen to this man, Morris showing up, because stand by your man, okay. um
Stand by your
I
man.
hope it is. I hope it is. But I would think with all the time they've been together, they had to have moments of this is it. Don't you ever talk to me? Don't ever call me again, Barrington. You always with these lies, and stop with your lies, pretending that you love me because you don't. I'm with this man. He don't like me. He don't love me. Like, how long have you been in waiting? Is this really the time? And I think that's going to be appeal for Barrington to swallow too. Like, oh, there he goes, getting himself all flustered. Who else you gonna be with but me? It's been me and you for how long? Where you gonna go, Morris?
Who else it gonna be? Salton, what is impressive is being 75 and this horny. That what is in this man? Listen, libido never ending. He said, "You like how I did it? Tell me, I'm gonna do it how you like it. You like it from the back. You like it from the front. I'm gonna get you
Do
how
you
you
like I always do you? Like, oh my god! And I love that. I love that. I think everybody went into the show with an expectation of, okay, how far are they gonna go? They're probably gonna. It's like, no, you're gonna get this little scene. You're gonna get this back. Okay, you're gonna
you
get
gonna
this.
get the suited
Get
up.
this
You
gay
gonna get all
love.
that."
I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. I didn't expect y'all to go there. And like they could have been modest. Like it's like, we're gonna keep the camera right here, just
Mm-mm.
insinuate we know what's happening. But now you're gonna get these cheeks. We
Yeah,
need
you
y'all
got
to
the
see the
backside in
incision.
motion. Yeah. But y'all, that was kind of in a nutshell the first three episodes. We just like the show, so we're probably going to be back no matter what next week. But Tyra, any more thoughts, any predictions for the rest of the season before we get out of here today?
I just hope. I think something has to be the catalyst for change, and a lot of the times it's something tragic. I don't know why I feel like something's gonna happen to that grandson. I feel like something's gonna happen to that grandson because I was hoping that it'll be like the grandson coming in and maybe catching them and like, oh, you too, grandpa? Like, oh, we have something in common, but we haven't gotten it yet. And how we kind of had him kind of skipping school and he's with the boys. Maybe one of them, were the prospects to be who was texting him on the phone. Who knows?
Oh,
But if there is a bashing situation where he's hurt,
oh God.
maybe, I don't want that. But maybe that'll be something that's just like, okay, I got to stand up if it's that. I don't know. That's what I see. And then of course we have to deal with all this time, Dad. Why did you lie? So Uncle Morris all this time was Big Daddy Morris, and we never knew. Like, and all of that, and maybe hopefully them gradually just separating and Carmel going on to just whatever services her at this point. Because I can't say live your best life. I just can't utter that at 75.
I mean, but what if Caramel had a girlfriend this whole time? It would be
Man,
very, very interesting if they were both kind of each other's, whatever, at a certain point. I'm very interested in her backstory. I hope we get more of that. What would be very interesting to me is if he never comes out. Like if we go all 8 episodes and he continues to stay in the closet, like that would be very, very interesting to me, because I do believe that that's some people's stories, the way they telling it, because I think Saul, Greta, excuse me, they have seen this all the way through and they said it's nothing that we expect. So I'm kind of on edge. Like
if
what's
he
going to
doesn't, and he's just kind of a man left alone to his own vices, and everybody just decides to walk away. And I love that. Do what I don't expect. Come on now, do that. I like that. I don't want to know what's happening, but it would be interesting to see. If as long as Morris go find him a man, go Carmel, go find your because she Carmel just kind of seems beyond that. Carmel would be satisfied if Barrington just kept doing what he was doing, but as long as you show me respect, show
Mhm.
me some, course of some type of affection, even if it's not sexually. Show me that I'm valued. Come to church with me, every once in a while, and don't put out my friends. She wouldn't care. She
Yeah.
would let him go on and be this dynamic until, they side by side in somebody's grave. But like, are you gonna want more, even if you're just choosing yourself? If you want to just choose yourself, girl, go out and do that.
Yeah. I'm really wondering if he in some way saved her. That would be the only, like, in their younger days, like, did he save her from a life of ill repute or something? Like, it's got to be something deeper than I think even of a love. I can't imagine that. So I'm very curious. I'm very very curious about what their true origin story
Mm-mm.
is.
With how selfish Barrington is, especially I love his little inner monologue. Barrington gives me he zeroed in on someone like, who? Yeah, there's someone who's not going to ask me any questions. Maybe she was a little dowdy, maybe not so sure of herself, beauty wise, or, you know, down on herself in some way. And it's like, here, I'm going to come and like, I need someone who's kind of middle of the road because I don't want anyone to have too many expectations. I need, a certain kind of woman to maintain this lifestyle and still do what I want to do. I think she was that. I think he found the perfect beard without her knowing that she was an actual
She was
beard.
a beard. Oh wow. Yeah. But you guys, that was the first 3 episodes. We'll be back weekly. So this is airing weekly on Prime via BritBox. And so we're just watching it up to the episodes that have been released. I honestly think they dropped episode 4 last night as well. But we just watched 3. So next week we would cover 4, 5, and 6. So I guess
Hmm.
we'll be pretty much almost done. We'll have one more week after that, but we will be back. Thanks for everybody who came through. Tyra, let people know what's going on
No.
these next couple
First,
days.
join the Discord. Join the Discord, okay? All you non-brick boxers, all the we got divorced sisters at home, join the Discord, okay? For anybody who wants to watch the show with us, I will maybe kind of like how we did it this week after we wrap up whatever we are talking about Wednesday. After that show, I'll show the next 3 episodes in the Discord so we can all kind of be caught up. And tomorrow we going down them Carrie streets, them Carrie Bradshaw, Miranda, Charlotte,
Oh Lord.
Raggedy, Lisa streets. Okay, we're getting into and just like that. Episode 3. Please be on the lookout for all those things. I'm still collectively trying to get collective news together to see if we can have one Saturday before the Saturday members only watch along. So be on the lookout for that as well. And actually, we're going to be talking about Echo Valley. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Monday, Sunday, we have movie marathon
Oh yeah,
for Father's Day because we love the
I
fathers.
forgot. I forgot about the Fajas, a smoke and a pancake. I forgot. I would never do that Sunday. Jesus. Just like we did for the mothers, we will be popping out with some Fajas, some lovely, lovely fathers, and celebrating you guys with a Sunday binge. All those good, Mrs. Doubtfire, Pursuit of Happiness. I put Logan in there, for me because I love Wolverine, but that's just my business. Stepfather, some good fathers, some not so great, but he got game. It should be a really, really good time and offer conversation for all the movies that are there. So please come and join us after you've done, celebrating with your babies or with your dads, or even if you're not and you just want to join in and watch some good dads or bad dads. Join us Sunday.
Join us, y'all. It's going to be a good time. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. We know everybody hasn't seen it, but like Tyra said, we will be watching and getting caught up in the Discord. So if you haven't, make sure that you are a member of the collective family so you know whenever we're watching something. I am going to go ahead and. Is this something for me to play?
Yeah, it's the ad for the
Oh, okay.
Father's
But yeah, as we leave, I'm going to leave you guys with the promo for the fathers because we love the fathers. We would never forget the fathers. Have a great night, y'all. We'll see you in the next video.
Who's the man? You're the man. Strong, healthy, black man. Huh? Dun dun dun. Bum up. Dun dun. Time to celebrate.
Sometimes I wonder if you know Come